If the person listening has that sense that they're falling behind, particularly if you're older and you say it's too late, like I've already blown it, Morgan, what do you want them to hear right now?
Well, I think you start with empathy because if somebody feels like they're falling behind, that's their truth. But I think it's important to realize too that all happiness is just the gap between expectations and reality.
All right, say that again. All
All
happiness is,
happiness
yep,
is the gap between expectations and reality. You have the life you're living, you have the
yep.
life you expect to live. In between there is where you can find some level of happiness. And the wider that gap is, the more miserable you're going to feel.
Okay, so let's talk about somebody who is in a situation where they thought they would be further along with their savings and they're starting to panic because they're worried that their money's going to run out before they die or they're not going to be able to retire. How do you use that happiness definition right now if that's the reality?
There are a lot of these cases, I would say the majority of these cases, where the reason that person has not been able to save as much as they thought is because their expectations for many years probably have been spiraling out of control. And they were spending more money than they should have been because they were trying to chase who they wanted to be, even if it wasn't necessarily the level of lifestyle that they could afford. And so they were renting an apartment that was very nice because they had an expectation that that's where they should be. And they were comparing themselves to other people, even if it was kind of out of their budget. They were traveling and dressing and eating out in a way because that's who they felt that they should be, even if they couldn't necessarily afford it.
Morgan. So there's a little bit of because just in full disclosure, I entered my marriage with $10,000 of credit card debt that my husband did not know about and then proceeded to hide it from him.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I just walked my credit card into stores and bought stuff I didn't need with money I didn't have.
Right.
And then even if I look at what happened to my husband and I when I was 41 years old and his restaurants were going under and taking our house and our entire life savings with it, the truth is we did spend a lot of money we didn't have.
Yeah.
And I remember several years later, as we were starting to climb our way out, there was a level of relief when I could say to myself, both, I'm responsible for this mess. I can see how I made dumb decisions at
Mhm.
the time because I had outsized expectations for how I thought things were going to go. And admitting it to myself in a weird way made me feel like, well, if I've got the power to make dumb decisions, then maybe if I wake up and recognize that, I've got the power to make better decisions.